Welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston. Join Dr. Pinkston today as she teaches you how an integrative approach to health, combining holistic and contemporary medical information, can lead you to the better life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston.
Hey there, good morning to you guys. I am happy to be here for another week of some integrative medicine and trying to teach everybody out there something new about their lives to give them a better life. And today we're going to talk a little bit about sleep. For those of you who are just joining in for the first time, I am Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston. I am a family practitioner and integrative medicine doctor in San Antonio, Texas. And I have been on radio in the past with a couple of interesting topics, integrative-wise. But over the years now, I've joined KLUP and now started a YouTube channel. And so I am able to bring you some more information and give you a few visuals and try to do something a little bit different these days. Now, I wanted to talk about sleep today. And sleep is something that's very, very important, and patients ask me about sleep all the time. I have a wide variety of patients who come from the state of I've never been able to sleep and have always had problems with insomnia. And two, I have lately, developed a sleep problem where I'm getting older and my sleep has changed. So I find that a wide variety of sleep problems are usually due to stress. For those who have chronic insomnia, who have had this for, ever since they were young and can remember, this might not completely apply, but for those of you who have developed sleep problems over the years, either as you're aging or as you've developed a lot of stress, this is something that your brain has learned, and your adrenal gland has tricked you into thinking that you can't sleep. So this is something very fixable. I'd like to help you do that today. One of the things that I want you to understand is a little background on the adrenal gland and cortisol. So cortisol is a topic that I'm going to bring up in many of my shows because I think cortisol is one of the most important things that I treat. It's one of the things that is probably at the basis of most of people's health problems, and it's certainly at the basis of sleep problems. Your adrenal gland is a small gland that sits on top of your kidney, and it pumps out adrenaline and epinephrine, but it pumps out cortisol, your stress hormone. And it's actually very good for you in some aspects. Cortisol is a benefit when it's in the right range. So you don't want too much of it, you don't want too little of it. And it ranges in a curve throughout the day. So it's high in the morning about 3 or 4 a.m. to get your blood pressure up, to get your heart rate up, wake you up, get you going and out of bed so that you can attend to your day. As the morning, travels on, cortisol begins to drop. When you get to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a little bit of a bump, and that's why most people get a little sleepy after they eat a large lunch. That's why we do a little afternoon siestas in Mexico or here in San Antonio. But as the day goes on, your cortisol continues to drop off, and that allows for your body to settle down and get into sleep mode. But with stress, and it's chronic stress over time, so a lot of patients will tell me, I'm really not under that much stress. I'll ask them to look at two things. One is, are you under good stress? Are you, helping a daughter get married? Are you getting married? Are you having a baby? Are you buying a new home? But also, you have to look at the past couple of years or even, 5 to 10 years. And if you've been under long-term, working odd hours, working night shift is one of the biggest reasons that your cortisol goes off. But if you're working long hours, a lot of financial stressors, traumatic things going on in your life, then your cortisol curve begins to change. And your adrenal gland begins to change its pattern. Mostly what happens is it's too low in the morning instead of being high. So you're exhausted, you hit the snooze 1,000 times, you can't get out of bed, or it goes higher late in the evening. And then you get that wired but tired feeling. So your brain is awake and you might fall asleep easily, but you wake up 1,000 times at night. Your brain just continues to roll. Or you just can't get down into a good sleep and it's late at night before you go to sleep. Or you sleep 4 or 5 hours, but you wake up really early and then you can't get back down and finish out your night. And what's important about that in getting a good night's sleep is that that whole night of sleep needs to be a good, at least least 6 hours, if not a little bit more, because the first half of your night is spent in stage 1 and stage 2 sleep, which is a light hypnotic sleep. Then the latter part of the night, you go into the deeper stages of sleep. That's your restorative and your reparative sleep. So that's stage 3 and stage 4. When you have a cortisol issue and your cortisol curve is off, then you don't go into that deep stage of sleep. Stage 3 and stage 4, you don't repair, you don't restore, and your cortisol curve continues to be off. So a little bit more on your cortisol curve. So your adrenal gland is pumping out a ton of cortisol at the end of the day. You can't get to sleep. Part of that is also because high cortisol levels makes you a little melatonin resistant. So are you one of those people who goes and buys melatonin, takes a ton of it? You know, you start with 1 milligram, 2 milligrams, you don't sleep, so you double it, then you triple it, then you quadruple it, and you just can't get down to sleep or it no longer works. And that is because your brain now is melatonin resistant. As you go up in dosage of melatonin, it becomes a supplement. So it helps to prevent some cancers or recurrence of some cancers, and there's a lot of good benefits of melatonin. But as you go up in the dosage, sleep is not going to be one of those things. So as you stay in that, 2 milligram range, you actually should go a little bit less. You should go to 1 milligram or even a half milligram. So it's based on your receptors. You don't want to oversaturate those receptors with melatonin. So going back to the cortisol curve then, if your cortisol curve is too high at the end of the day, then your body will eventually bring your cortisol curve all the way up. And then it's high all day long, pumping out, very inflammatory. That makes you, gain weight, put on that belly fat. You can't lose weight. You can't sleep. You can't think well. Your numbers start to change. Your blood sugars are going up. You can see how this is incredibly detrimental. After it stays high for a long time, people begin to say that I have adrenal fatigue. Your adrenals never fatigue. They pump out constantly. So what happens is as your body begins to get tired of it, your brain gets more and more inflamed over this process. Your brain shuts down your adrenal gland. So the adrenals don't get fatigued, your brain does. When the adrenals stop and you don't produce cortisol, that curve will fall all the way down and flatten out. Then you're really in trouble. And that is very, very hard to turn around. You are very, very exhausted all the time. You can sleep 20 hours, not get enough rest. You don't get into those deeper stages of sleep. You never restore and repair. Your body is really in trouble at that point. So somewhere in this, we have to fix that cortisol curve to get to the basis of your sleep. One of the things that I recommend to people is something called an Aura ring. So that's O-U-R-A. I think it's auraring.com, so OURAring.com. I'll include that on my website so you can find that. Don't make any money from it, but I think the athletes use this a lot. This is highly recommended by a lot of specialists. I use one, and it's wonderful. So you can use it during exercise to, track your heart rate or your steps throughout the day, but it's also wonderful to track your sleep patterns. Much better than a Fitbit, much better than the Apple Watch. So when you use the Aura Ring, what it will do is show you the sleep pattern throughout the night. So it'll show you those lighter stages of sleep and the deeper stages. And as long as you can get an hour or two of those deeper stages, you're going to repair your sleep. You're going to do a lot better. So that is one way of knowing whether you're actually getting it or not. One of the other things that I tell people too is not only just tracking your sleep, but we can do some lab, and I can look at your cortisol. I used to do saliva testing, so patients will come and ask for a saliva test, and I did this for years and years. What I found is by just talking to my patients and understanding their history and their sleep pattern and their symptoms, that I can nail your cortisol curve without doing that $200 test. Your insurances don't cover it. You have to bring that out of your pocket. And usually if I can just listen to you, I can get an idea of what your cortisol curve is and suggest a therapy. The other part of it too is that there really isn't a way to guide your sleep with medication. This is something that we do, getting your sleep hygiene fixed, but using a ton of herbals and supplements. and working with you on your stress. I mean, who can get rid of their stress? Nobody. If I had the answer to that, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this. I'd be a millionaire in Bali somewhere. But what we try to do is work on, all of these sleep patterns and get you into a good deep sleep, meditate, get rid of some stress, try to figure out how to pattern your life better, and watch your sleep improve. It can be done sometimes in 10 to 14 days. Sometimes it takes me several months. It just depends. But I can do your laboratory, and I can see that's covered by your insurance, and I can see some trends, but also get your history and try to help you figure it out. The type of supplements that you take is different for everybody, but there are some that are staples. And things that I'm sure you've heard of, they're adaptogens. So adaptogens are herbals that adapt to your cortisol pattern. So if your cortisol is too high, it adapts it down. If your cortisol is too low, it adapts it up. And the different types are kind of outside the scope of the 24 to 27 minutes I have here. But I'll tell you, some of them are ashwagandha, rhodiola, licorice root, and adrenal gland tissue from usually cow or from pig. And it's very clean, it's very effective. And these adrenals, you have to go through a good company. I usually have a company that I recommend. It is something I can leave on my website, and I'm happy to leave a couple of choices for you. I don't make any money off of this, so I'm definitely not selling you anything. But these different types of companies, if you buy something over the counter, off the internet, Amazon, some of these things tend to be from a third party. They'll open up the bottle from a good manufacturer. They'll take a capsule and fill it full of talcum powder or some filler, put it in the bottle and sell it to you for double the price. So usually through a doctor, through me, through my website, I can give you information about where to find some good products that actually come from the good companies that don't practice this type of, issue of messing with their supplements. So some of these supplements, though, are good at, adapting your sleep and adapting your cortisol curve and helping you become less melatonin resistant, getting effective sleep, deeper sleep. And you can see that when you're using something like the Fitbit or whatever you've got, or an Oura Ring, and watch your sleep pattern change and get better, deeper sleep. When you do that, then things start to respond. That belly fat starts to come off, your brain starts to clear up, your hormones are better. And so there's a lot of different changes that the body will make that help you to get back on track, lower inflammation. So part of the, and also too, I always warn people that when you are buying a supplement, please check with your doctor. Make sure that you're taking something that's not interacting with your medications or causing you, blood pressure problems or other issues. All of these things are relatively safe, but I always want you to check with your medical professional. Another thing that you can use too in combination with the adaptogens is something like L-theanine or 5-HTP. I combine those with melatonin. If somebody's cortisol curve is beginning to respond, but they're not really initiating or getting into good deep sleep quite yet, and we need to hurry things up a little bit, I'll use a combination of L-theanine, 5-HTP, and a low dose of melatonin. And that combination tends to allow your body to make more of its own melatonin, because what you make is always better. L-theanine is wonderful. It's nature's Xanax. So for those of you who know what Xanax is, I tend to try to get people away from benzodiazepines like Xanax or Valium or alprazolam or things like that, and try to help you use something like L-theanine, which is an amino acid. It's found in your protein shakes. It's found in a lot of good calming medicines, but L-theanine is safe as kittens. You just have to find your dosage. I will tell people sometimes one capsule will do it, sometimes 5 or 6, but it's something that will never really harm you. You try not to drive, find your dosage, just be cautious, but really it's very calming. I have people who will take it before they give a speech, and it's great at helping to initiate good sleep. So the other thing, too, is hormone replacement. That's another thing I spend a lot of time on with patients, is trying to get their hormones balanced. cortisol interferes with hormone balance. So when I do natural hormone replacement therapy, then that is something that will also initiate good sleep. For women, estrogen is helpful with that, but mainly it's testosterone. So testosterone, no, is not just a man's hormone, it's a man and a woman's hormone. So men need to be 900 to 1200 on their levels. Women need to be 250 to 350, a significant difference, but it does the same thing in each person, and good sleep is a part of that. I only do it natural, and that's my last show. So go back, please, and watch my last show and find out about, or in the show before, find out about hormone replacement, because it's very, very important. So I'm going to take a break here in a minute. I want to speak just a minute about the medical spa that I am medical director for. It is Dolce Beauty and Laser. It's at 6865 Camp Bullis Road. Lisa Trinquire is the owner and works all the Botox and everything over there. Her daughter Bianca is the injection specialist, and I would put Bianca up against any physician or trained professional in this town. She has so many years of experience and does a wonderful job at all of the fillers. They have lasers and all sorts of facials and hair removal and things for making you look beautiful. And they are sponsoring me here today. Their number is 210-686-0505, and they are waiting. They've got specials for you. Last week she had a 70% off special. So I bet you if you tell her that you heard me on the radio or on the YouTube today and call her and tell her, I bet she'll give you 70% off. When we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about sleep hygiene and a few of the supplements, and then we'll be done for today. I'll see you back on the other side. Hey there, welcome back. I am talking about sleep today. I am Dr. Mary Ann Pinkston, and I am on YouTube and KLUP now, 930 The Answer, trying to bring you some great integrative information and medical information that can help you have a better life. Today we are talking about sleep. And I just went over things about supplements, and now I think I need to talk a little bit about sleep hygiene. So this is the stuff that you have the power to do to improve your sleep. Some people don't really understand, and maybe you've heard and you just need reminded. But one of the things, I remind my children of this all the time, is that using computers and things that stimulate. Let me back up just a second. So sleep hygiene are things and that you can do to improve your sleep, and things you might be doing to interrupt your sleep. And so these are habits and changes you need to make in your efforts in order to get better sleep. And so I remind my children all the time that when they're on their computers at night and I'm on my phone, the last thing I do, honestly, and you do too, is look at the phone, see if there's any messages or calls I miss or emails real quick, or I'll browse Facebook for a while, just trying to get caught up and let my brain wind down. The problem is your brain does not wind down. When you're looking at screens, so television or computers or your phone, there's a blue light emitted that actually stimulates your brain. So if you're having trouble going down at night, if you lay down and start looking at screens and you get a second wind, that might be why that's happening. So try to do something different. Cut it off about an hour before you go to bed. Maybe read. I don't know who does that anymore, but read or do a little bit of light work or something that will wind you down that isn't screen involved. The other thing too is don't forget a routine. So if you're a parent, you've got to get your children into a routine to get them down to go to bed at night. That is something adults need to do as well. So getting a good bath and starting to read something and get rid of the screens and all, get into this routine, go to bed at the same time every night relatively, and wake up at the same time every morning. Even on the weekends, you can vary by an hour or two, but that is something that your brain gets used to, and you will stimulate your brain chemistry to sleep a lot better. And I blow that, so I tend to mess that up. And that's that's why people who have shift work have so many problems getting good sleep. So part of that routine can be more of a bath time. I know women might be more prone to this, but guys, don't give up on it. It is something you can use valerian or magnesium. So Epsom salts with lavender, or to use things like, L-theanine orally. I have a CBD bath bomb. CBD is not a drug and it is not illegal. It is something that you can use very easily. And get into a good hot bath and relax. Some people can do alcohol and use a glass of wine or so, but I warn people about alcohol a little bit. It's not that it's so bad for you necessarily, but what alcohol does is it gets you into a stage 1 and stage 2 sleep, a hypnotic sleep, and you never go into stage 3 and stage 4 sleep. So remember, I said that's restorative and reparative, helps you fix your cortisol curve, helps you sleep better, and alcohol, even though it makes you feel sleepy like you want to sleep, you don't. So you may think you did, but you don't. The same things with sleep medications. So Ambien and those medications that we give for sleep do the same thing. They keep you in a hypnotic sleep, and they don't allow you to get into a deep sleep. So I actually sometimes resist telling people to use Benadryl or ZzzQuil or even something over the counter, because that is what happens. So on CBD, that is something that I do use, and you really have to, we're going to spend some time on this in a show in the future, but CBD is something you've got to be very careful about. Everybody has one. Everybody sells one. And it is a very picky subject. You have to find a great brand, something that is grown well, distilled well, that absorbs well, has great science behind it. You can't go into the grocery store or something on the corner and just buy CBD. You've got to get a good brand of it. That is something else that I also support, and I have a link on my website that I will include for a good brand of CBD that is incredibly affordable, 99% absorbable. So this is something that I support very highly. I've got 2 brands actually, so I can give you a choice. Other than that, the thing that I encourage patients to do as well is talk to their doctors about possibilities of sleep apnea. So sleep apnea is where you lose oxygen levels during the night. You can't get into a good deep sleep because as you lose your oxygen level, your brain wakes you up. So you can't get into a good deep sleep if that happens. So you do need to be tested for that. Oftentimes it's a spooky thing. I just find people with high blood pressure. If you snore a lot, if your wife or significant other tells you that you stop breathing during the night, you need to be checked, and that will steal 10 years off your life. So will the lack of sleep. So as I wrap this up today, thank you for listening in on sleep and sleep hygiene. I want to tell you a little bit more about me and where you can find me. So I am at Pinkston Medical and Wellness at 10865 Shaenfield Road. That is out, between Calabar and Bandera, out in northwest or west San Antonio. I have a little clinic that I've been doing this for 21 years, and it's just me. I'm a solo practice, so I'm very easy to find, very easy to get in touch with. I have an email, so you can go to contact@pinkstonsA.com and send me an email. If you have something that you would like to hear, a topic you would like for me to cover, good things to say, bad things to say, I'm open to it. Please send me, and even some brief questions as well. I invite people. I am taking new patients. I do take insurance. I also take cash, and we are not that expensive. I do a lot of hormone replacement. I work a lot with regular family practice things as well. So diabetes and cholesterol, do wellness. I see all ages. So 210-698-7825 is where you can find us. Please give us a call. And I thank you very much for listening in today. And thank you, KLUP, for having me on. Have a great week.